What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So today, oh man, I've been waiting for this one. So this is from Command of Braves Dagwon. This is Fire Dagwon. I actually got this one in probably right when I was doing the Voltron review. And I almost stopped the Voltron review to do this one, but I was like, no, let me get the Voltron one out of the way first. So that's what we're taking a look at today. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go. All right, so let's take a look at the box first. So of course, this is the front. That is the side. That is the back. That is the other side. This is the bottom, and this does come in, looks like Japanese and English. So you've got that from D4 Toys, of course. And this is the top. So that's what you've got. Now, I actually do have some issue with this box. Now, I like all of the stuff on the sides and the back, but the front to me is a little uninspired. This is literally just a product shot that we got when it was first announced. I kind of wanted some original artwork, you know, especially with a Good Smile and the Dagwon GX that we got. I like that kind of artwork, and even this is different even for Metamor-Force, because with the Dan Kuga, we got original artwork from Obari. Even with God Gravion, we got original artwork. So I don't know, this one seems to be a little bit uninspired. So especially, you know, like with all the Kotobukiya models and stuff, and we're getting new artwork, because you have to remember that a lot of these properties are almost 30 years old. A lot of them are over 30. Because KAEN just had their 25th anniversary last year, I think, and that was the youngest show. So all of these, I think Dagwon's like a year or two before that one. So, you know, this one's 26, 27 years old, and you don't really get up-to-date artwork with a lot of these. So that's something I would like to see. So I'm just saying it's not bad. Like the sides and the back are fine. It's just the front. I kind of would have liked to see some original artwork, but oh well. All right, so let's take a look inside. All right, so let's see what we got inside here. So of course I have not taken this out yet, so I have no idea what's in here. So let's take a look. Let's pull this out. All right, move the box out of the way. Oh, okay, look at that. So of course this is Fire Jumbo, right, with Fire Stratus, and you got the engine parts for Fire Jumbo, so looks pretty good. All right, and you know, it's interesting doing this one after the Voltron review, because that Voltron kit was so big. Pause. But yeah, it was so big. This one seems tiny in comparison. And then of course these are the exaggerated parts. That was the D4 or Sentinel site exclusive. So you got that. All right, you got the stand with the hands, and then of course you've got the Lyo sword. All right, and then you've got his other sword there. It looks like you got the stand there. Okay, and then we have the manual. So, you know, pretty basic, but yeah, so let's take a look at the manual first. Next, let's take a look at the manual here. So, you know, it's interesting, right? Because after I was talking about this with some friends, I wanted to know what the correlation was between D4 Toys and Sentinel. But after doing a little bit of research and stuff, looks like this is your parts count here. For the Dagwon, there's not a lot of pieces to him, which is actually a good thing. So, of course, you got the sword parts here, the hands, the two swords here, the extra pieces, Fire Jumbo, and the engines. That looks like that's pretty much it. So you've got that. So after doing some research, I found out that pretty much what it is that Sentinel deals with all of the stuff in country as far as Japan is concerned. And D4 kind of does, is almost like their distributor, like to the rest of the international public. So it seems like Now they are based out of China, but so maybe that's where all their stuff gets made. I'm not sure. That's my guess, but I don't know that for sure. So, but yeah, so that's the whole thing with Sentinel in D4. Because I was like, how come they're the only ones that have like that extra part? But that seems to make sense, right? So of course they're going over the transformation here. Looks pretty basic. So there doesn't look like there's a ton of stuff that we're gonna have to do. I don't see anything that's super out of the ordinary. All right. So that's what we've got for the manual. So I'm gonna take him out of the clam. We're gonna take a look at his accessories. Next, let's take a look at their accessories. So for the accessories, it's pretty basic. He doesn't have a lot. He didn't have like guns or anything in the show. So what you've got here is you've got fire rescue. See if I can get that to focus. There we go. And then these will actually become his arms, or his hands actually. So, and then all you have to do is pull this out here. Pull that out. That's his closed fist there. Okay. And you would just kind of pull this out here, and I'll go through that when I do the transformation. So you got fire rescue there. All right. Doesn't transform or anything like that. Wheels don't move, you know, that's fine. All right. Now you've got, so here you got fire ladder. So of course the ladder does move up and down. Okay. This is actually how you put the fire blade in. You just pull this out here. Okay. But that does move. Okay. And that will move from left to right. All right, so you've got that there. All right, that goes, but this is also the other fist. So you just pull this open and then pull that out. Okay, just like that. So you've got fire ladder. Okay, then you got fire stratus. Now you have two different versions of him here. So first you've got this version. Okay, this is actually the transformable version. And to transform him, he's actually quite simple. You can put both in Fire Jumbo, and then that's how he'll be Fire Dagwon. But pretty much, this is pretty easy. So you just take it, fold the legs down like that, and then you just take it and split the arms there. Boom, there you go. Now he's super, super tiny. I would say he might be maybe about a half an inch. He's super tiny. But this is the transformable one. He doesn't come with any guns or anything like that. But that's what you've got for Fire Stratos. Okay. And we can put this back together here. All right. And like I said, it's pretty simple. So not much to it. All right. And I remember when I was talking about in the announcement videos and some of the videos that I've done on Fire Dagwon on the channel, was that originally they weren't going to put this one in. They were just going to give us the other one. And the other one is this one here. Now, this one does not transform. Okay. And as you see, it doesn't have the split in the center for the legs or anything. So it doesn't really transform. But this one, you can use both to put into Fire Jumbo. So, you know, but you do have another one there. So that's what you've got for the Fire Stratos. Now, for his hands, you've got this here. So these are your articulated hands. So of course, these can move up and down, all of them. They're articulated. These seem to be kind of heavy duty. Articulated hands are kind of interesting thing because a lot of times they tend to be a little bit on the flimsy side. But with these are actually pretty solid. I don't know if I'd say these are metal, if they're just hard plastic, but usually when you have all the different joints and stuff, some of that could get broken very easily, or like the ball joints in here will actually come out of the socket. I haven't seen that with this one, but you do have those. So you have fully articulated hands right there. So you got the left and right ones there. You also have the sword hands, right? And so this one, as you see, if you look at the ball joint here, this is at an angle, and that's just for when he has Lion's sword on. When he has that one, he can actually hold those with both hands. So you have it for left and right. Okay, so you've got that, and then he's got the closed fist in Fire Ladder and Fire Rescue. So as I drop it. So, but yeah, so you got those two here. Let's see if we can get the focus. There we go. So you got those two there, and then they're exactly the same. Okay, and so you've got those there. Now for the sword, all right. So you got this is Lion's sword. Okay. And you've got a lot of detail in here. That's actually really good detail work in there. And, you know, with Lyle's sword, this is probably, I always like this sword better than the Fire Blade, just because of, you know, the different poses and stuff that he did when he had this sword. He didn't use it very much in the show, but this is actually, this is an actual character in Dagwon. So it was a character that transformed into a sword. So, but, so you have that. So let's see if I can get that back to focus there. There we go. So that's what you've got there. It's a pretty nice size, I would say. You know, not much as far as anything, but you know, it's not super heavy or anything. This is probably all plastic. I don't think that this is metal at all. Now, if this had been chrome, I would have liked that as well. But you know, this is fine. The gold paint on here and the silver paint on here is good. So you got that there. This is the Fire Blade. All right, and this is the one that's on his forearm. All right, and that's the one where you take the part off of a fire ladder in order to do that. So you got that part there. Now, with these two parts, you actually got, these are the exaggerated parts. Okay, so this is what you got for the exaggerated parts. Now, these were the bonus parts for the Sentinel exclusive and the D4 exclusive, right? So these are the exaggerated parts. So what it is pretty much, because usually in the show it would be at a 3D angle like that. And so this part of the blade would always seem a lot bigger. And so that's where a lot of that comes from. Okay, so that's what you've got for, and this is actually for the fire sword. Okay, and then this is for the, fire Lyle sword. Okay, so that's the exaggerated part from that. Same thing, you would have it at an angle. So more than likely when he was doing his poses and stuff, the sword would always be like pointed towards the screen like that. It's almost like a 3D effect. And so, and this part of the blade would always be a lot bigger than this. And it's just kind of like an optical illusion. So that's what you've got for that. So that's what you've got for his accessories. That's pretty much it. Now, the engines for Fire Jumbo, you can put those on and you can move those around, but I'll get into that when I get into the transformation. So we'll take a look at Fire Jumbo next. Next, let's take a look at Fire Jumbo. Now, for Fire Jumbo, there's not really much to him, okay? So the interesting thing about this plane is I've always considered this to be based off of a 747, but some people have made the claim that it actually could be based off of an Antonov 124. Antonov 124 would be a lot bigger than this though, so I've heard both, and I think that it looks similar to both, but I would say especially in the back definitely looks like a 747. So, and I used to work in the airline industry a long time ago. So, yeah, it looks like a 747. It's kind of like a take on a 747. So it's definitely inspired by that, or an Antonov 124. It doesn't really matter which one. So of course, you know, he does have wheels here, and let's turn him over, and he's got wheels here, which is this is actually the chest part of Dagwon here, and then he's got wheels on the back of the knees here and here. Do they move? Not really. I mean, they're there, but I mean, like, are you going to be rolling this like you're 5 years old? Probably not, right? So, and to be honest, I don't know anybody who would actually have it in this form. That's why I'm not really super keen on transformable figures. I know like some people are like, oh, it has to transform. For me personally, I can take it or leave it. With this, there's not really much to it. So, of course, now with his wings, these can move because they're actually plugged in here. And a lot of times when he would come off of Dag base, all right, which was like Dagwon's base thing, he would come up off an elevator and he would kind of come up like this, and then these would fold down here. So, and then what you can do in order to simulate that, you can actually have those in there if they ever do a Dag base, which I doubt because Dag base is really big. But the Dag base and Dagwon, the thing about the Brave series is that a lot of them are reused. Some of them, not all of them, of course, but depending on the series, some of them are reused molds of older Transformers. That's kind of the connection to the Transformers franchise. And with Dag base pretty much is Grandis, right? So he's just kind of a recolored and retooled Grandis. So, and if you know Transformer lore, you kind of know who Grandis is. I'll put a picture up though if you don't, but that's basically what Dagbase is based off of. So, you know, just a little tidbit there for you. So that's pretty much all it is for Fire Jumbo. It looks great. I'll never have him in this form, of course. But of course, it's good to have, right? So actually, we're going to start getting into the transformation next. So let's get to that. Next, we're going to go through his transformation. Now, for the transformation into Fire Dagwon, it pretty much almost is exactly verbatim how it was in the show. But first, before we get started, I want to show you where you're going to put Fire Ladder and Fire Rescue. So pretty much Fire Ladder and Fire Rescue comes out of his feet, which are these red parts here and here. And what it is you open these up, the top part will open. You might want to actually pop the wings up in order to clear that, so you've got a little bit more space. All right. But if you look and then you push his foot down, you can see there is fire. Let's see if you can see that. There you go. There is Fire Rescue in there. And actually what's holding him in place is you got two tabs on the left and right. And what you would do in order to pull them out, you would actually just push those in, okay? And it's gonna be hard to show on camera, all right? But you would just literally push those in and he'll literally just fall out, okay? So that's how those are stored, okay? And so you can have those around, so he doesn't really shake around or anything when he's doing that. So you got it like that there. Let's see if I can open this one up too. There we go. And so there you go. He's got Fire Ladder there. And so of course, like I said, you just take those tabs, put them to the side. That'll get them where you can actually get them out. The easiest way to have them out is actually to just push them out just like that. And actually how he started his transformation, these would come out first anyway. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull both of those out that way. Now, under normal circumstances, I would go ahead and actually cue his actual music, but I kind of got smacked on the wrist for doing that with the Voltron video. So you have to be careful with that because you got copyright problems. So, but anyway, so we've got that there. There we go. We can get him out that way. And then you just push him out. He falls out. But that's usually how he would start his transformation anyway. So we're going to go ahead and start his transformation since I've kind of already got him kind of started that way. So what you do, raise the wings up. What we're going to do is we're going to turn him around. Okay. And then you're going to take his feet. All right. This is his feet and his legs. And those literally lock back into place this way. We're going to take this, lift this whole wing part up like this. Okay, we'll put his wings in place. And then for his landing gear, all right, you're gonna take that. That's actually this part right here. You're gonna take this and fold this in. Now this can be a little bit of a pain to get out, but that's how you would do that when you have that in. So you take those, push those in, just like that. We'll actually do the front when I get to it, okay? But literally his legs would come down just like that. And that's almost exactly how it was in the show. Those lock into place. Okay. Take the two tabs that the wings were connected to, push those in. Okay. And then what we're going to do, we're going to work on the wings here. All right. So with the wings, you've got a couple of things going on here. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this, we're going to split this bottom, the back part here. All right. So you're going to split this. And then we're going to make sure that this is all cleared. Okay. So you would fold that up. So you're going to take this, you're going to fold that up like that. You're going to take this, and now you can actually leave it like this, but what Sentinel has done is they've made it to where actually this will actually cinch up even more. So what we're going to do, we're going to take that, we're going to split these, okay, and you have to kind of move the bottom tail. Just don't do it too hard, because if you break that tab, you know, unfortunately, it's going to be hard to keep that thing in place, okay? So you're going to take it like that, and then you're going to take this, you're going to fold this down, and then you're going to push this in, boom, and the tail cinches up like that. You take this, those two tabs that were connected together, you're going to put them right back in those tabs there. So that locks into place there. For this one, you take that, put that tab in there, boom. And so it's a lot shorter of a tail, all right? And so you've got that part here. His wings will come out this way. And what we'll do is we'll take one of his turbine engines here, take that, push this in here, and I'll actually go ahead and have him set up the way that I would want them anyway. So we'll take those, spin those around, okay? Same thing with this one. I mean, you can leave them on the outside if you want to, but usually in the anime, they're actually closer to the body. But, you know, you can kind of have them any way you want, to be honest. So you got it like that. Let's spin that, spin this one, take those in, okay? We'll flip him around. He is coming together, okay? And then we're gonna keep this. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're actually going to split the nose, okay? And unfortunately, there's not really any other way to get in here, but let's see if I can do it, because I keep my nails short, so sometimes it's hard to split it, okay? But what you wanna do is you wanna actually watch out for this tab here and this tab here, because of course if you pull on those too hard, that is gonna break, okay? And then good luck if you ever want them in fire jumbo mode again. It's never gonna stay together, okay? So you're gonna take this, you're gonna split this just like this, okay? And so these are his actual arms here and here, okay? And then what you've got is he's got a little thing here that actually has the thing. This pulls out here. Now this is another part. You have tabs here and here, so you don't want to use too much force on that, because if you, like I said, if you break them, it's never going to stay together, okay? So you've got it like this. You can actually pull his arm out this way, okay? And then you can take this, push this back in, cinch that in, snap into place. Now, when I first opened this part automatically came out as soon as I split this. And so I may have a problem keeping this in together, because if I was gonna transform him back, this is where this is gonna become an issue, okay? To where it won't stay together, locked together because of the tabs and stuff. So that wasn't, that wasn't something that I was planning on, but it does happen. So you definitely wanna be cognizant of that. You can take that and spin it, okay, and then you would have his arms out like this. And I'll tell you what, let me up the camera just a little bit. Okay, so you got it like this, and then actually I'll put his feet back in here. So we got it like this, okay. Let's push his foot back in. I still had those out from when he was in a fire jumbo mode, okay? So you can kind of see he's starting to come together right now, okay? So you've got this, all right? And then we're gonna take this, do the same thing that I did with the other side. So you're gonna take that, okay? And you're gonna take this and pop this open, all right? There we go, there's his arm, pull his arm out. Boom, okay. And actually the reason why his wing is falling off, because I don't have that locked into place yet. But we've got it like this. That cinches back in. Now you can actually put his arms on, okay. And so you would put this on here, just like this, all right. And those will kind of go in this way, all right. And then in order to pop his fist out, okay, we're gonna take this, push this in, all right, and there comes his fist out like that. Close that up, okay? So you've got that. Same thing with fire rescue. So he's gonna put this on here, and then you're going to undo this part here, and then we're going to, all right, take it and push that on there. Now that's in there pretty tight, so you're gonna have to use some force. I just didn't push on that one seal there because I think I might have messed that up. Okay, so those are his arms there and there, okay? And so what you can do is you can actually take these, you can spin this around. Okay, those pretty much become his shoulders. And you can do this here. And we'll actually cinch this together like this. All right. Same deal with this one. Take that, push this in. Take this, cinch that all the way in. All right, there we go. So now he's got his shoulders. It's pretty much where we want them. All right. And you can change those fists that way. Okay, now for the bird thing here, we're gonna take this and we're gonna pry this open. Okay, so you're gonna pry this open just like this. All right, and as you can see, that's Dagwon's head there. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the wheels and you're gonna move these in, okay? Just like this. All right, now like as you can see, these tabs here and here, the more force you use, I can tell that those are the paint's gonna rub off on those. So just be cognizant of that, because this has a lot of places where you have to use a tool or something in order to pry these things out of here without scratching the paint. And so, because some of these things are sensitive, so of course you would pull his head out. Now this is actually where it differs from the actual transformation in the anime, because in the animation, literally his entire chest and midsection piece would come down. And I know the reason why they didn't do that, because that would take away from all his articulation for his midsection. So, but you know, this is a, interesting compromise, and I'm actually okay with that, right? So you're gonna take that, put that in there. You're gonna take this, cinch this back in. All right, boom, just like that. Take the beak. All right, like I said, you gotta be able to grab the bottom of that without scratching it. Okay, and then we'll cinch this back in. Boom. There you have him, Fire Dagwon. All right, and to put Fire Stratus in there, so of course that's this small guy here. All right, so what he has is he has two tabs back here. All right, and so what you want to do is you actually want to take this and pull those out. Okay, and they'll come out pretty good. All right, and then what do you do? He actually slides in here, just like this, in the back. Boom, just like that. I don't know if you can see that, but he's right in that slot there. And then you close this up. All right, and then usually after that he would scream out KAEN GATTAI, which pretty much is blazing fusion or blazing combination, Fire Dagwon. So boom. All right, so that's what you got, Fire Dagwon. Now let's take a look at some of his articulations and some of the things that he can do. Next, let's take a look at some of his articulation. So first things first, for his articulation, of course, the engines or the turbine engines can move left and up and down, and then you can also move these from slot to slot. So he's got slots in the back, so you just pull this out and put this out if you want to move those. So you've got that there. Okay, and then for his head, of course, he can look all the way up, he can look all the way down. Now for his two ear parts, these actually do come out, and if you mess with this too much, they're on a little tab, kind of almost exactly like the SMP version of Fire Dagwon. These will pull out, usually when you combine him into Super Fire Dagwon, those will pull out, and then he'll put on some other ones. All right, but for the head, he can turn 360. You just want to be careful with it. Okay, just like that. So he can do 360 for that. So pretty wide range of motion. All right, so you can look down like that. So that's pretty good, considering it's not really on a really big neck joint as his earpiece falls out. And that will happen a lot when you mess with the head. So just be cognizant of that. You don't want to lose it, and you definitely don't want to break it, because that tab, let's see if I can show you, that tab is pretty small, as you can see. So just be careful with that when you're messing with the head, because that will fall out pretty easily. Okay, for the shoulders, Now, this piece will go all the way up here, okay? And as you see, this is kind of, when I look at this, it actually reminds me of a lot of the Bandai SMP version of Firebird. This almost is exactly like how he looked as far as these issues with his shoulders and things. So this would go all the way up here. All right, you want to make sure that you don't hit these ears because they're pretty sensitive and they will come out. Now this can actually go all the way up, but yeah, as you can see, it's hitting the ears. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn his head just a little bit just so I can show you. And that goes pretty far up, okay? And then his arm will actually raise pretty high up there. It can actually go further, but he would just be hitting his head, okay? So you've got that there, all right? And then for the bicep, this can actually spin, all right? And it can go 360 if you can just clear it, okay? Just like that. For his elbow bend, he can actually take this and raise that up pretty high, just like that there, okay? And then unfortunately, no real articulation for the tricep, okay? But for the wrist, he's got decent wrist bend there. So up and down, left, right. So that's pretty basic, all right? But he can also flex it in like that, and that has to do with the elbow, okay? So you've got that for the arms. Now, for the midsection, he actually has quite good articulation. So of course, he can look down. So of course, he can look down this way. He can look up, all right? I'll try to get the wings out of the way here. All right, so you can look up like that there, okay? And then he also can go from side to side. So he can go that way. He can go that way. So wide range of motion for the midsection. That's actually good for it. So in order to do some of his poses that Fire Dagwon does, he's gonna need that. So you've got a lot there. Now, can it actually spin? You can, but I don't know if I would try to do that 360. It might if you didn't have the side skirts in the way, but he's got a lot of stuff there. So I don't know if I would actually try to spin that 360, but it looks like it can go about 45 degrees, okay? Left and right. So you got that there. And you got this here, okay? All right, so you got that there. Now, the thing about his wings, as I keep messing with, there's a tab here, and this tab is supposed to go in just like that. All right, and then this is actually supposed to go and lock in place so that doesn't move. But all right, so we've got that there. So for the midsection, quite good. Of course, his beak does come down, but since I don't have any nails, let me try to get that back up there. There we go. So there you go, the beak for the bird. There, so pretty good for the midsection. Now for his waist, all right, let's see what we've got here. So front skirts do move up, all right, and then this ball joint, that's all die cast all in here. So the waist is mainly die cast there. He does have a short side skirt, so he can move it probably about that high, not 90 degrees, but pretty close. Could you actually move it higher? Maybe, but I don't know if I'd want to do that just because of, I don't want that to break or anything. But so you've got that there. And for the front part, he actually gets a little bit more than 90 degrees. Okay, so he's got that. He's also got, all right, a really good knee bend. Okay, so he can actually do that. Okay, so looks pretty good. All right, let's get that down here. For the thigh, it actually can't rotate 360, but you know it can get pretty decent rotation out of there. Okay, and then for the feet, now the feet is interesting how they did this, because in the SMP, this was actually one solid piece and it was really, really big. But because he has this space here, I would say that he stands well, but because the back heel is a little bit higher, And I don't know, something about it, it just doesn't seem like it, even though it can do it on generic surfaces, but I don't know about glass and all that. He may not stand up that well. So, but you know, it's good. It's just for some reason that just seems a little off to me. But for the feet, of course, I can raise up like this. Okay, and then this can go down all the way, of course, because that was part of his transformation. So that can go all the way down, and then he can swivel it from side to side. Okay, so you've got that. Now back to, can he actually do the splits? Let's find out. Okay, let's see. So he's got I mean, that's pretty much as close as the splits can get, you know. So he's got a pretty wide range of motion in the legs there as well. Okay, so overall, really good articulation. Is it the best I've seen? No, but it definitely is comparable, and I think that this is very good for a Dagwon figure. So let's actually do some posing real quick, and we'll actually see what his signature poses were. So next, let's take a look at some of his posing. So of course, this is fire hold. So in the anime, and if I could actually put up some pictures of the anime to kind of show you what I'm talking about. In the anime, how he would actually disable his opponents before he's going to do his super move is that the beak would open, which it doesn't do on this one, which I'm okay with. And he would say fire hold, and that pretty much would like freeze the enemy in place. The thing about this is actually where I think effect parts come into play. Now, if the beak could actually open, that would be cool, and then have the ray kind of shooting out, because in the anime, that pretty much was his finishing move for the first third of the series. So this is fire hold. Now, this pose is for the fire blade. So of course, he would call out for the fire blade. This would actually extend. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this part out and put the fire blade in. All right, and he would call for fire blade. Let's get his hands kind of like that. And so he would kind of do almost like a fencer's pose to a degree. So, but it's actually, this is where the ab crunch actually comes in here and here. So you've got that, and then that would actually extend out. So you can use that one. You can also use if you want to go for the exaggerated look, you can pull this out. Okay, and then push this one in, and this is for the fire blade. So of course, when he was doing that, and so usually he would be pointing at the screen, you know, we can actually raise that up just a little bit like that, and he would kind of do that. So that is the fire blade, and then he would do his finishing, which is, then he would call out finish, and then this would kind of be his finishing pose as the bad guy exploded in the background. So, you know, he can do most of the poses that he did in the show, and you know that I'm very big on that. So that's actually what I want most out of my figures, that it can do what I saw it do in the show. So that's what you got for that. And then we actually have the Fire Lyo sword. So we'll do that next. Okay, so the next pose is when he was gonna grab the Fire Lyo sword, or Lyo sword, right? So literally the thing would come up from behind him like this, and he would grab it, right? And I'll try to put pictures up for this one as well, because this one was actually pretty cool. So he would grab it, then he would do the fire hold. So of course with Lyo's sword, that's a little bit different from how he did it the first time. So, but this is actually when you would use your exaggerated parts. So what you can do is just take this out, and then this actually just comes out just like that. Okay. And then you would put the exaggerated part in, and he would pretty much be facing the screen just like that. Right. And so this is actually very, very impressive to me. This pose is actually very difficult to pull off. Most figures that I've seen that can try it, it has a very difficult time with the hands, getting them into the right positions in order for him to do a two-handed pose. So I am very impressed that Sentinel was able to do this. And to be honest, it wasn't very difficult to do. I know with my Kotobukiya Great X Kaiser, he had a horrible time doing a two-handed pose. And in Brave, this is kind of where that two-handed pose comes from. So this is really good for Sentinel. The fact that they're able to get all of the poses that he did in the show, that is exactly what I want. That is exactly what I want. And to me, that should be the basis for most figures. Most figures should be able to pull off the things that you've seen them do in the show. To me, I don't think that that's too much to ask for. But yeah, so perfect for them. Now let's get into some size comparisons. We'll take a look at some of the other Braver figures and see where he lines up with them. Next, let's actually do some size comparisons. So first, I'm going to bring out some other Metamor-Force stuff from Sentinel, and we'll see how they compare as far as size goes. So first, here he is next to Gravion. Here he is next to the Metamor-Force Final Dan Kuga. Here he is next to the Solar Shigoken Go Lion. So as you can see, according to other super robots, he tends to be a little bit on the smaller side. So let's compare him to some Brave figures. Here he is next to the Amakuni Kenzin Genetic Gout Guy Gar. So here he is next to Great Dagwon GX from Good Smile. So of course, as you see, he is a little bit smaller than most Brave figures. However, once we get Power Dagwon and he can combine into Super Fire Dagwon, it'll be interesting to see how big he is then. So that's what we've got for size comparisons today. So let's get into final thoughts. So last thoughts on this guy. To be honest, there's not really much as far as cons that I can think of. I think his articulation is pretty doggone good. I think the transformation is pretty easy and it's pretty accurate to the anime. I think that the poses, as far as his articulation and stuff like that, that he can pull off is pretty true to the animation as well. There's not really much that I can think of other than the fact that he is a tad bit tiny, right? So he's a tad bit tiny compared to most figures that I have, but I think that that'll probably be rectified once Power Dagwon comes out and we're able to get him into Super Fire Dagwon. But other than that, I don't really have any complaints. I would think that maybe you could add some effect parts. I think especially if you're going to do bonus parts from Sentinel or even Good Smile, any of the other companies that do Brave figures, I think effect parts can kind of put these things over the top. There's not really much that he would need as far as effect parts. I mean, like you could pretty much do like the fire hold, and that's pretty much it. That's really the only thing that I can think of that he would really need. So other than that, I think he's perfect. There's not really much I can do. Like the feet, for me personally, the feet are okay. Now I think because of how his transformation into Super Fire Dagwon works, that's probably the reason why they did that. I think, but for the most part, it's still like the articulation is pretty decent. I'm not going to say that it's bad or anything. So really, I don't really have any complaints with this guy. So I think out of 10 stars, I'm going to give him a solid 9. I don't see why you wouldn't want to pick this up unless you're just not a fan of the design or you're not a fan of the show. But I think other than that, he's almost, this is what I would want as a Dagwon fan. This is what I would want as a Fire Dagwon fan. This is probably one of my top designs in all of Brave, whether it's compared to I go back and forth as far as which one is number one. It's either between this one and Super Fire Dagwon or like Great X Kaiser and stuff like that. But anyway, I'll get into that in another video. But anyways, so that's what I got for you today. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.